Hi Cancer, welcome to your August 2016 love reading. A lot of swords. More swords. Yeah, I just started a new thread, or what do you call it? Spread. I said thread. Been online a lot. And I have to remember not to bury the overall energy card. So that is the Sun card. And so this is like, you know, for a love reading, this is all about falling in love or being in love. It really is an overall positive energy. And because the first 3 weeks of the month are in Leo, and Leo is ruled by the Sun, it can be kind of going along with that time frame as well. And it's very interesting because I did pick the Strength card, which is also associated with Leo. So, but anyway, so there is going to be something, and it's a positive kind of a nature for the signature in August. Maybe you are in the middle of a romantic relationship. Maybe it's at the beginning stages. When I look at the recent past, I got the Judgment card as well as Ace of Swords. So it's kind of like, you know, for some people, when I see the Judgment card, I really do think of a divorce decree and kind of like coming away from that situation and, you know, stepping into a new life. And, you know, the Judgment card can relate to rebirth. The Ace of Swords, again, when you have the ace, you're talking about beginnings. And it's a mental kind of an energy, so it's almost like this resolution of wanting to do things differently and think about things differently. Maybe in the past you were, you know, having these notions of what love was about, of what marriage was about, and now you have kind of seen the light and you really have this ability to see things as they are. And that was something that came about because of whatever it was that happened. It doesn't have to be divorce. It can be any kind of situation where it was kind of like leading up to that finale, because we did get, for the present time, this. Now, you know, it's funny, you know, now that I think about it, it could actually be that you're seeing the light. Maybe you weren't the one that wanted to get a divorce, or you didn't want to be the one that ended the relationship. And so if that is the case, then you are kind of coming out of that down cycle. It's something that you're recovering from. But you know, even when somebody takes the initiative in a relationship, there's still going to be residual effects like the Ten of Swords represents, where you may still feel that sense of betrayal, that sense of the relationship, you know, having turned sour. And that's going to obviously stay with you until you kind of come out of it. I feel that you are, though, because of that Sun card. I really do. And the accompanying card is the King of Swords. So this is about you really kind of getting hold of your emotions and not allowing them to run wild. You know, as a water sign, you are an emotional person. That is how you navigate through life. The Swords cards connect with the air signs, so they tend to be rather detached from their emotions. They may talk about their feelings, analyze them, label them, but not really feel them. And you have a very strong capacity to feel feelings. And this can be wonderful, especially in your ability to help heal other people, because you have a lot of compassion, empathy, understand, where people are coming from. But it's like the water element itself. You can float or you can drown. And sometimes when people get too caught up in it, they can drown in their emotions. So this is about having mastery over emotions right now, even as you still may be feeling a few pangs of what has occurred. So again, it doesn't have to be that you went through any kind of legal separation or divorce. It may just be that you discovered something about a partner and that was enough to have you leave, and you still, even if you're physically separated from that other person, obviously it's not going to necessarily be enough to just move on without even thinking twice. But at some point in August, you may have that renewal of what love is all about, which is just that feeling of joy. It can be a feeling of being childlike, innocent. It's a creative energy, the Sun card. It can also relate to having children for some people. There's just many possibilities, but it is just a wonderful regenerative kind of an energy, especially coming on the heels of the Judgment card. Well, actually, it's funny, I said coming on the heels. Actually, the Judgment card is after the Sun card. It's the very next card. The Sun is 19 and the Judgment card is 20. So let's look at some more influences. When we look at the higher message, we get the Knight of Wands. And so this may be telling you that if you were in a situation where you felt that you were betrayed, like let's say you were cheated on, that the person, and it's not just about infidelity, but also sometimes people, and I'm going to say, most of the people watching this are women, and a lot of times women get involved in physical relationships, and in the back of their minds, or maybe in the front of their minds, they are hoping that it kind of extends itself into a committed relationship. And the Knight of Wands is kind of like a person, I want to say a man, because, knights are, associated with men. It's a masculine energy, as is the Wands energy. So it's a double masculine energy. But I'm not here to to indict a particular gender, but it could be the love 'em and leave 'em type. And maybe you got involved with somebody like that and you thought it was something more, and you made more of it than it really was. Now, it's always possible that the other person presented themselves as being interested in something more in order to, get what they wanted. That's always a possibility too. It could literally relate to a fire sign. It's funny, as I say, I'm seeing all this swords energy. So sometimes, it could be that that person is a fire sign, or they have both fire and air in their charts. The fire signs are Aries, and I know some Cancer people hook up with Aries. Leo, the sign right next to you. Also, we're talking about that sun ruling Leo, and Sagittarius. And so, as much as I said that it could be that this person didn't have the intention to ever commit, and that was always just a myth, it could also simply mean that maybe you were with an air sign, and this fire sign is the person, and especially if it is a Leo, or, doesn't have to be the sun in Leo, that this person is the one for you. So maybe you were involved with an air sign, and the air signs are Gemini and Libra and Aquarius. And so it's very interesting, to think about all the possibilities. Now, let me see which one I'm going to read first. Well, I'll read what's crossing you. What's crossing you is the Strength card. So that kind of makes me think, since it's connected to Leo, that maybe the person who may have been a little bit of the player could have been a Leo. This card, the card of Strength, can relate to you having, fortitude when you're dealing with a lot of stress and things like that. So maybe it's in the reversed position, because that's how I read a challenge card, even if I draw it upright. It could be saying that you have been maybe you've been kind of wavering. Maybe you did leave and you're thinking of going back. You're getting a little bit weak-kneed about it. And so you have to watch out for that tendency, because sometimes people know better and they still go back. That's just the truth of the matter. And, why do they? Well, maybe they still have an emotional connection. Sometimes people have a physical attraction. There are many reasons why people go back. But I think underneath it all, it can often be a faulty premise, which is that there's just not much out there. And this goes back to the law of attraction about, there's a limited amount of people. I might as well stick to this person even though I'm not getting what I want, because, what else is out there? And sometimes people cite their age. They say, who can I get at my age? Or maybe they cite, I'm a parent. Nobody would want to be with me. Nobody wants to take care of children, or they don't want to be with it. And this person is willing to see me even though I have children. There's a million things that people tell themselves. So this could be causing you, a lack of strength. Could be creating a situation where it's one of those vicious circles and it goes on, never ends. And then, paradoxically, or we could even say ironically, that puts you out of the running for actually finding somebody that is more appropriate. So that's pretty interesting. Now, what is surrounding you or around you is the Empress energy. The Empress is the energy surrounding it that relates to the mother archetype. And, they often say the Earth Mother, even though it's associated with the sign Libra. And it's, associated with the planet Venus. And so it can indicate, it's also like abundance too. But in terms of people, because it's the environment or the people, there could be someone else. If there is, maybe you were betrayed because somebody else, you didn't know the person had another relationship, and it was the mother with the mother of his child. and that might have been a feeling of betrayal. It could be also that someone is around who is a Libra. This doesn't have to be an enemy. It could just be an influence in your life. It could be a platonic friend. But it could be somebody who is a nurturing individual. Maybe it's somebody that you're turning to. It could be a friend of yours, and that you take great comfort in at this time. The advice is actually the Seven of Swords, and I always call this a sketchy card, but really one of the things about the Seven of Swords is that it can indicate a need for discretion. And so for people that are currently in a relationship, the Seven of Swords can indicate that if you're trying to leave a relationship, you may have to do so in a way that is not too abrupt, is not too obvious. I always say, don't let the other person know you've broken up with them, and this is one of those kinds of, cards that's kind of slinking off somewhere, not, making this grand statement. It can also just indicate that you need to not divulge certain things with other people. Maybe you've been too open with people in the past about relationships. Maybe you've got this new relationship and maybe you don't have anybody else at all. But, the tendency that you normally have is to tell other people what you're doing. And sometimes this can open us up for negative responses from other people. And it's funny how we never connect it to envy, jealousy, things like that, and just assume that maybe there is something wrong with that person that we're with. When so-called friends or family are trying to poison the well, and they're doing so, for the reason that human beings sometimes do. Occasionally people are right in their assessments when they think something is off with a person that you're with. So I'm not going to say that it's going to be 100% of the time that people are downing somebody that you're with because they are jealous. But this card is all about discretion. This card is about being clever in how you handle things. And for instance, if you're the kind of person that does things a certain way, maybe you should change the way that you do them. And not only in terms of sharing your business with other people, but as you get involved with a new person, if this ever comes up, maybe you will want to gradually talk about yourself if you tend to be an open book. Now, I never think of the water signs as necessarily being open books. So it all depends on, I guess, the individual chart, if this is something that you would do to tell your life story to somebody right away. But that's another thing that people do because they want to get close to someone, and it kind of makes the relationship prematurely intimate, when maybe just revealing things gradually is a better way of getting to know somebody else by, sharing of yourself, so for what that's worth. But the outcome is the Hierophant card. And yeah, there he is, coming into focus. And so this is a card of, it's like a higher vibration. So it's a card associated with religion, for instance, but I, see it as spiritual in general. So I feel like this relationship will be different. This may be more of a soulmate relationship than if you were involved with somebody else and it was a physical relationship. This one will be more where you will have in common a sense of spirituality that is, it may not be the exact same thing, but you will be on the same page on that level, as well as in other ways that connect to something beyond just the physical side of life. Maybe you share the same philosophy. Maybe you may have been raised with different religions, but you may share the same basic philosophy of life. It could also relate to your educational backgrounds. Maybe you have somebody that you can also share intellectual pursuits with. And so I think that whatever may be coming in for you, Cancer, it's going to be a higher caliber type of relationship. And so I think this is going to be a very good time for you. Obviously, this is a general reading. I do hope that some of the cards resonate for you. If you would like a personal reading, where I look at your natal chart in addition to a tarot spread, please click on the link below. Otherwise, have a great August. Bye.